totally fine. Yeah.
YOLO.
We're gonna crush this.
YOLO is the answer.
Wait, I'm not ready.
I am not emotionally prepared for this. Sorry. Will I ever?
You are emotionally prepared. Okay, I'm just gonna start.
As the leader of the affirmative team, I strongly affirm today's resolution that this House would wear a mask. As a brief roadmap, I'm first going to address framework, then move on to address the affirmative team's case. All right, so we define this House as the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Because when we are choosing an actor, we're looking at the countries that have the capability and the power to to be so secret. Okay, to wear a mask. And we're defining wearing a mask as being deceptive, hiding your true self. All right, so moving on to address our plan. So our actor is the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Time frame as soon as possible with no funding necessary. And the plan text is that the country will invite Obama to work towards peace and then assassinate him. And our criteria today is net benefits to the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, especially its glorious leader, Kim Jong-un. Okay, moving on to address the affirmative team's case. So our first contention is to assert the superiority of the great leader. Now, less than half of Americans believe that the Democratic People's Republic of Korea is actually serious. Now, what we're seeing is that the people who have an education in America actually don't believe that North Korea is a threat at all. Now, this cannot happen. This is an insult to America. To DPRK. Okay. The great leader is flawless. He is the center of the state ideology. So we cannot allow this insult to continue. So by assassinating President Obama, we'll be able to show that DPRK is serious, that we are truly glorious. Moving on to address our second contention, which is that North Korea will be able to attract allies who share the same anti-American sentiment and create a new world order. Now, the President of the United States is viewed as the leader of the free world. By assassinating him, we open the gateway for a new world order to form. It's a floodgate. Okay, so currently there's a lot of anti-American sentiment in the world. So in Russia, it's at historic highs, according to the Washington Post. And over the past decade, according to Japan Today, faith in America has plummeted since President Obama took office. So we have a lot of countries around the world, for example, Iran, Russia, China, who would be perfectly willing to help DPRK form a new world order and to make sure that this libertarian order does not continue to exist. Okay. Moving on to address our third contention, which is that of liberating the American people. Now, the state ideology of DPRK revolves around the idea of juche, right? Okay, where leaders are supposed to be the center of class struggle. They're supposed to, they're representative of the working class. Now, we can see that class struggle isn't prevailing in America because President Obama isn't accurately representing the working class of America. So, by assassinating him, by carrying out the affirmative team's plan, we will liberate the American people from this oppressor and make sure that they, too, can experience juche. Alright, so, now, Song-un says that we should solve this militarily. That's the state ideology. So that's how we're going along with this ideology by using military, which is essentially assassinating President Obama. Is there anything else you want me to say? Okay, impacts. All right, impacts. Well, impacts, we'll be able to restore North Korea's honor, as you can see in our first point. Second point, you'll see that we have a new world order where the current libertarian state does not have a say, and we'll be able to have a communist society, Socialism is the true future of Judge. We need the working class to prevail, and currently we can't do this with having the free world lead us all. And the impact, the third, will be liberating the American people, liberating them from such wage disparity, such wealth inequality. And we will end racism and sexism, and
all equal as the working class.
the working class will be truly equal. And so for these reasons, I strongly affirm today's resolution.
That was spectacular.
That was good.
It's just hard to practice and change.
Choose someone. What?
I know what I'm gonna say.
Then say it. Like, preferably really slowly so I have time to come with goodness.
What?
Like, test. Too late. Ouch. Literally my sweat.
Pearl, go.
What time's it?
Pearl.
Yeah, guys, we don't have like our 5 minute run or whatever it is.
Alright, go.
Okay. Is everybody ready? Time starts now. As the first speaker from the negation team today, I strongly negate today's resolution that this House would wear a mask. So I'm going to begin by refuting a couple of the affirmative team's points, and then running a topicality, and then moving on to our points. Okay. So basically, one thing they stated was how Kim Jong-un is the supreme leader, and how his rule would overall benefit the general community, and they also talked about how the criterion today should be of net benefits for Kim Jong-un. However, and they also talked about how countries would support the DPK in killing. I'm on protected time. Chill.
This is just like a.
Countries would support North Korea in their plan of assassinating Barack Obama. However, I'd like to point out that North Korea is not. North Korea currently, Kim Jong-un's policy is not to talk to, or not. Kim Jong-un does not like foreign negotiation or talking to other people. Therefore, I'll take your question later, and I have time. Thank you. Therefore, under their framework and under Kim Jong-un's policies, he wouldn't want to have foreign support because North Korea hates everyone. Okay, moving on. Especially, moving on to our topicality. Okay, interpretation. What? So, interpretation. They interpreted this case as they defined this house as North Korea, and they talked about they set the criterion as net benefits to the first. They set the criterion as net benefits to only one person being Kim Jong-un. They also talked about this is a violation because this is wrong. This is because their criterion only benefits one person and one person's ideology, and under one person's ideology, which is bad because that would mean from their framework we'd all be ruled under one supreme leader. Usually people would not interpret this house as normal people would not interpret this house to be North Korea. Because we are debating in America, usually we define this house as the U.S. federal government, which is why this is non-topical. Because my partner and I, and as well as all the other debaters in this community, would most likely on the negation side with this resolution that we would most likely prepare something about America, and that's unfair to us. And then standard, what they should have done, they should have defined if they were to still define this house as the DPK, they should have still set the criterion not as to net benefits for the general public and not one person, because that way they'd be benefiting the entire population. And they did say that under the communist regime, once Kim Jong-un is supreme leader, once Kim Jong-un is the supreme leader of the world, he would promote communism, and then everyone would be equal and everyone would be happy. No, let me tell you this right now, that pretty much everyone in North Korea, the citizens, they are living under the communist rule of Kim Jong-un. However, they are starving or dead or extremely poor, and they hate it there. I'll take your question later if they have time. When I have time, thank you. Basically, people in North Korea want to move out of North Korea and go to America, go to free countries, go to the country in which the very person they are trying to assassinate on the affirmative side, they want to go to the country that is ruled by them. So that's really not good. Okay. They should, so this takes away from the education of the debate, because we didn't have enough time to prepare reputations for North Korea, because we don't live in North Korea, we don't know a lot, we don't know enough about North Korea, and we only prep the side, and this side is only prepped enough to, has not prepped enough to anticipate what the affirmative team might have said. This is unfair. The affirmative team should have been more open-minded, because this takes away from the education of this debate, because I'm standing here talking to you right now about why their case in general is bad and not why their points, and we're not, okay. And, takes away from the education of the debate, okay? Yeah, not good. Moving on to our own case. So we set the criterion today is net benefits in general, not for just one person, because we want to provide more benefits for the general community of the entire world. And that's overall more beneficial than that of the affirmative side. Okay, we reject their, based on all the stuff I said during our topicality, we redefine this house to be the U.S. federal government, and we agree to their definition of being deceptive. So our first contention is that wearing a mask would break trust. Yeah, so the people would not know, people who are not directly involved in the government would not know about what's going on, would not know about what's happening in their government, and if the government purposely, I'm on protected time, last minute. If the government purposely keeps things secret from the people would get mad and even revolt, and conspiracy theories would come up. Example: Edward Snowden. Edward Snowden leaked things to Americans, and Americans were really mad because the U.S. federal government was spying on them. That's not good. Second contention: corruption. North Korea, super corrupt because they are completely secret to they do really bad things for their people. People do bad things when the stuff that they do does not need to be publicized. Private military contractors hired by the government. I'm on protected time. 30 seconds. Okay. Private military contractors are hired by the government to do the dirty work for America, that the military so that their own military doesn't need to go out and do it, and therefore make America look bad. Yeah. Third contention: wearing a mask is an act of cowardice. It takes away from responsibility. Wearing a mask or being secretive is in human nature. That's really it causes people to do bad things, and they feel like they're okay to hide themselves. For example, People of the Book, which is a historical fiction novel. Judah Arya
in the 1600s.
This is fiction.
Historical fiction, therefore it happened. Judah Arya, who may not have been an actual person, but his story reflects something that's actually happened in the past, was participated in Carnival, and he gambled money that he borrowed from another woman, which he said he would benefit the Jews of his community. He actually used it and gambled it all away. Also, the KKK, they were masked, and they did bad things to black people. For these reasons, I strongly reject it.
Okay.
Okay, wow. This is quite a debate.
Oh yeah, here.
See, I told you.
It's gonna be a lot
Not
of it's gonna be a
fun.
lot of squinting. I'm not like angry at you, Lily. I just I'm not winking either. Still cute though. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna begin my time now. So I strongly affirm today's resolution that this house would wear a mask. I'm gonna begin by addressing my opponent's refutation to our case, moving on to addressing their topicality, and then finally addressing their plan, a counterplan, and disadvantages/advantages mixed up into one. So they responded to our 3 points. Firstly, that this would assert the superiority of the great leader. Secondly, that this would help attract allies. And thirdly, that this would liberate the American people with one refutation. That the DPRK does not have any allies. It does not like the outside world at all. I stood up to ask my opponents this question, which I will say now. Are you aware that the DPRK currently has diplomatic relations with over 160 countries? 160, that's like in the 3 digits. This is a huge amount of countries. If my opponents knew anything at all about North Korea's appearance in the news lately, they would know this. Yet for some reason, they're choosing to remain ignorant to North Korea. They're choosing to remain ignorant to countries outside of America, especially one small East Asian country which has strived for liberation in the working class ever since its inception. Why do they do that? I'll address this right now when I'm addressing their topicality. So apparently, North Korea was not predictable, to their words, a normal debater. Who is a normal debater? Judge, I can answer that question for you. They're male or they're white. So what we're saying is this is outside of the scope for a male white debater. But why, Judge? Are we lifting up a white male as the pinnacle of debating? We stand before you as Asian females, and we need to lift up this Asian country. What is so wrong about choosing a non-American actor? I think it's completely ethnocentric and frankly bordering on racist to automatically assume that every single debate is about the United States. We are 300 million out of 7 billion people out there. Why is every debate about America? It's not outside of the scope of debate to talk about North Korea. We have had debates about North Korea in the past. It's completely predictable. The only reason my opponents are not adequately prepared is because they don't know even the barest facts about North Korea. For instance, the fact that they have diplomatic relations with countries at all. Furthermore, they say that saying only benefits for one country is wrong. Again, in the past, we've seen that utilitarianism use some, but they use net benefits. And net benefits has been used in America in the past. How is using North Korea as an actor inherently any worse than using the USFG? Simply because it's a different country, simply because it doesn't has ideas that you don't agree with? That's preposterous. Judge, my opponents need to open their mind, and you should too. Thirdly, they talked about how no one is happy in North Korea. North Korea is a worker's paradise. We never claimed that people in North Korea were happy, first of all, so I don't know why they're acting like that's some kind of reputation. And secondly, they provided absolutely no source for this at all. By claiming to defeat our entire case with one made at that, when they were already citing fiction to support their case, Judge, North Korea is a worker's paradise, and do not let my opponents tell you otherwise. Then they said this would bring the educational value of this debate down. Let's look at the educational value of today's debate. I think my opponents, for sure, have just learned that North Korea has diplomatic relations with over 160 countries. That's plenty of educational value to start with. By debating something that's outside of the norm, we have more to learn than by rehashing the same old territory. And I think that's important in debate, to open up our views of the world, to encourage critical thinking and thinking outside of the box. If you don't want your ideas to be challenged, why are you in debate? So with that, I'll move on to their case now. First of all, their plan is that the USFG would wear a mask. At first, and they cite Edward Snowden and the NSA. Would implies this is a future action. I don't know why they're planning to take an action that has already been taken. So this plan is clearly impossible. And secondly, they go on in the rest of their case to talk about wearing a mask is so terrible, yet neglect to say why the detriments of wearing a mask outweigh the benefits of wearing the USFG wearing a mask in this instance outweigh the detriments of cowardice and corruption that they bring up later in their case. So clearly they're destroying themselves here. Judge, if you believe that they've proven that wearing a mask is terrible, they've also lost. But Judge, if you believe because their plan is for the USFG to wear a mask and if it applies to this is confusing, Judge, and that's because their case is confusing and they took absolutely no questions despite going for 8 minutes. There's not much I can do because it was a mess. I'm doing the best I can to explain this to you, Judge, but don't let them come here in the MO and suddenly roll out a full and complete case. That's ridiculous. Especially because they're going to have 12 minutes to talk about, which is completely unfair to my partner. Secondly, they brought up corruption and how North Korea is secretive, and somehow this is really terrible. Again, this is hypocritical considering that their plan was just for the USFG to wear a mask. And secondly, the whole point of this plan is that it's a secret. If Obama knew he was being assassinated, he would not go to North Korea. I fail to see how being secretive is inherently negative and a detriment to this plan in any way, shape, or form. Also, as we've already gone over, my opponents have not disputed in any way, shape, or form, meaning it's fact in today's round, Kim Jong-un is infallible. And as they have not contested the fact that he does not have any flaws, we need to take this as fact in today's round. My opponent even mentioned that he was a supreme leader who had no flaws, but they only refuted this by saying that he wasn't allied with anyone. But as they've proven he's allied, clearly he has no flaws. So now that we've proven the absolute supremacy of Kim Jong-un, clearly this is not corruption in any way, shape, or form. So let's go on to their third point, cowardice. Again, if my opponents have conceded that Kim Jong-un is infallible and has no flaws, then how on earth is he a coward? Secondly, I believe that wearing a mask is necessary in some cases. For instance, again, Obama would not visit North Korea. What we need to do sometimes is take actions that are distasteful for the greater good. In this case, the liberation of America. The American people would benefit immensely from this. We need to clearly see that this is not cowardly. And if it is cowardice, it's a necessary cowardice for the liberation of the world at large. To see a new world order, it is imperative that we take these actions and that we wear a mask. So again, I'm going to rehash everything I've talked about this speech so far. So I've refuted all of my opponent's refutations to our entire case by simply correcting their incorrect facts. I've addressed their topicality by talking about how this is actually ethnocentric and racist and how my opponents cannot be allowed to get away with this in today's round. And thirdly and finally, that their plan, one, is impossible, and second, it's contradictory, and thirdly, none of these flaws apply to our plan at all. Thank you. I cannot read my paper because I cannot see anything.
I don't know.
Sam, I'm just kind of guessing
What?
at what I wrote down.
Lots of fun stuff.
Fun?
Yes.
Lily will tell you after the round, and you'll feel really bad and guilty because she'll do the same thing to us. And we'll be like, oh, we should have said that. And she'll be like, yeah, you should.
I have to say, this is really amusing.
Isn't it?
Keep it. Continue. I am enjoying this very much.
You are.
I think we're learning
Like,
something
you're
very
very
important in today's debate. In for instance, Kim Jong-un is infallible, cannot make any mistakes.
Did we say that?
Much like me.
Oh my god, the Illuminati is real. Kim Jong-un, Lily, Obama, 3 triangle. Is Elaine on this microphone?
I am wearing a mask. How do you know I'm not Kim Jong-un right here?
Oh!
So tell us, are you going to assassinate Obama?
That is a good question.
Points for today's debate practice. Lily is Kim Jong-un.
Yeah, seriously. All right, Elaine, go. What?
Can I run time? Yes, you can.
No,
You can
you
run
can't.
anything you
No, if you
What
want time
is
to, you're not
time
going to, because I already have something prepped against it, and you're not going to be able to explain it well, which means that this is kind of a loss if you try to run it.
Well,
You can run whatever
I
you want.
promise that I will beat it handily.
Go for it.
Elaine,
What's
go.
the other theory where like we're all digital people?
Just go. Run whatever you want.
To find this house. Like, what was Okay, run whatever I want. Okay, so
I'm not gonna stop you from running something.
Oh.
do I have to go in any order? Can I
Just tell me what order you're going in,
what if
and
I
then,
don't
then just signpost. It's fine. But tell me where you're starting.
where should I start?
Strongly negate today's resolution.
Beyond that. 5,
Okay, you know what?
4.
As a member of negation, I strongly negate today's resolution that this house should be passed. In this speech, I will be going over a lot of things. First, I will be going over the topicality. No, I will be going over the affirmative team's case. The affirmative team provided three contentions, and we refuted all of them by saying that they have no allies. But then the affirmative team came up and said they have diplomatic relations with 160 countries. But if they killed Obama, a lot of the countries would draw out since those countries are Yes.
We also
Protected
talked
time.
about, you took the
Care.
question, excuse you. Oh, we also talked about how high anti-Americanism is. Do you think, for instance, Russia, China, or Iran would necessarily abandon North Korea over assassinating Obama?
Russia, China, and Iran are only a few countries. Oh. China's economy is very dependent on America, so that for jobs and stuff, because America sends their labor there. So people have jobs in China because of America. That is why people and a lot of countries are really interconnected and interdependent with America because America is such a big power. Therefore, those countries would want to drop out if they killed Obama, because if they killed Obama, that shows that they're very anti-American. And they depend a lot on America and their systems in order to survive in the economy, global economy. So, yeah. Now I will be going over the topicality. I don't know what happened in this, but they refuted our topicality that my partner brought up by saying, "Who is a normal debater?" and other stuff. We did not assume things are what? We did not. Yes.
I'm pretty sure you said, and I quote, normal debaters would not think of North Korea. That is a direct quote from.
But who are normal debaters? They didn't explain why normal debaters were white and male people. We are all Asian girls debating right now. We are not abnormal. Therefore, their point doesn't stand. This is racist because they're assuming things, and by assuming things, they're just creating the stereotype that all debaters are male, and by doing that, they're isolating everyone else by saying that.
Sorry,
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, they're saying that all debaters should be white and male. By defining normal debaters as that. Okay, I'm done with this. Okay, so our first contention was that it breaks trust. What? Oh, they said it would take away education from this.
Who said that?
Okay. You know what? Keep going with what? Okay. So our first contention was that it breaks trust. They refuted this by saying that it happened before and action happened. They said that this already happened before, so doing this action would be impossible. But we would like to refute this by saying that the U.S. can keep putting on masks. And by doing that, they'll break more trust. And by breaking more trust, people will stop trusting their government. And without government trust, people have, yes.
Wait, so is this plan going to happen or is it not going to happen?
What? Our plan, what?
Is this
The
conditional?
U.S. wearing a mask can also be interpreted as the U.S. could put on another mask. Okay.
What is going on?
None of this matters because the universe is a whole and we're just all bees, right? And that is a theory by Nick Robbins.
It doesn't matter to you.
Our second contention was that of corruption and how North Korea and how corruption is bad. They refuted this by saying that we didn't mention why the detriments of wearing a mask outweigh the benefits of wearing a mask, but they provided no benefits of wearing a mask. Their only benefits were that
I'm pretty sure we did that on purpose.
their case talking about how the benefits of wearing a mask by murdering someone and as we have impacted out to destroying global economy is not good. Okay, our third contention was that of cowardice and responsibility and how people need to be responsible for their actions, or else they'll just do whatever they want, like North Korea. They refuted this by saying how some cases something else, but they didn't mention. Okay, they also said that Kim Jong-un was perfect and he can't make mistakes. But you know who else is perfect? Lily Hackler.
Are you suggesting that Lily Hackler is Kim Jong-un?
Well, she said it herself. She could be Kim Jong-un.
Two different people can be perfect, but they do not have to have the same
Kim Jong-un is not.
same ideas. And because of that, I don't know what I was gonna say. For these reasons, I negate. No.
Your time is up. Your time is long enough.
Please, just do it.
North Korean ski resort.
Okay.
North Korea's a ski resort?
Yeah, Kim Jong-un built one and he's the only one that uses it.
That's the life, though.
Okay.
But let's say goals or if we could.
What?
Right. Oh, that.
Can I apologize before I start?
I think you should just start.
I'm gonna apologize right now. And that's the end of my apology. Okay. Okay, time starts now. As the final speaker of the negation team, I strongly negate today's resolution that this house would wear a mask. I'd like to begin by clarifying something. Because we are on that this house should wear a mask, we are saying that wearing a mask is bad. Now that that's clarified, I will move on to our voter issues as to why we have clearly won today's not very non-educational debate. Okay? So our first voter issue is that of the topicality that we set of how the affirmative team's case is non-topical and is not educational, and none of us benefit from this debate at all. We stated how it was more fair to set the criterion as benefiting the general community. General community and not simply one authoritative ruler, Kim Jong-un. And their only reputation for this was that Kim Jong-un is perfect, and etc. However, we don't see a reason as to why this should be any better, why this should outweigh the billions of people who live in this world today, Judge. What is one person compared to 7 billion people that could be benefited by our own plan of governments, this House, the U.S. federal government not wearing a mask, as opposed to what they're saying about, as opposed to their plan, which I'll go over in just a second about their plan. It takes away from the education, Judge. It takes away from the education of this debate, Judge, and which is a reason why their case should not stand. But if you don't buy our topicality, you should buy the fact that their plan is extremely weak because we've totally destroyed their plan. Their plan is saying that the DPK will invite Obama to talk to.
Point of order. I think this is the first time you've brought up whether our plan is
You know
going to
what?
work at all.
You know
This
what?
entire
We're
debate.
losing. Please be quiet.
No, Judge.
The country.
Under consideration.
Okay, country will invite Obama and then assassinate him. And then they talked about, and then we refuted this by saying that countries would not support the murder of the president of the United States. Then the affirmative team countered this by saying how North Korea has 160 diplomatic allies. However, my partner refuted this herself by saying that America is extremely important in the global community, and if North Korea and its allies and its diplomatic partners ally to kill the president of the United States, the United States would draw out from all the United States would probably not react very well from this, and also the diplomatic countries that have connections to the United States would probably not want to kill the president of the United States because they're so economically interdependent on each other. Therefore, they don't have any supporters at all for their plan. Moving on to our second voter issue of the criterion. Of the criterion. So the criterion we have set in place is that of net benefits for the greater community. We're talking about governments being more just, or governments being more not breaking trust, not being corrupt, and not being cowardly by hiding behind the wall of secrecy to do things. We're talking about honesty. We're talking about really important things. But if you don't buy us under our criterion of net benefits, we still win under their criterion of under their criterion of Kim Jong-un, of net benefits for Kim Jong-un. Because if Kim Jong-un is honest, then all the benefits that we provided will go for them. So under their criterion and our criterion, we win. We win this entire round, Judge, and I think you should vote on us because this entire debate, we are all bees.
Excuse you?
For these reasons, I strongly. Wait, no, I have one more thing to say. Wait, no. Never mind. Okay. For these reasons, I strongly negate today's resolution.
I know. I feel like this outrageous.
Not even know what happened to this debate.
Okay, I thought it was pretty good. Like, it's
good
going
until
away. Kind of like it was like a train that was like bang.
It's good until I started writing my last speech. Okay.
I think you should do some interpretive software.
Okay. As the leader of the affirmative team, I strongly affirm today's resolution once again. And in this speech, I'm going to be going over voter issues or the reasons why, Judge, you should vote for the affirmative team. Now, the negation team says, and I quote, "We win this entire round." But I will be proving to you that no, we have managed to refute all their material and carry our impacts through. Okay. So, first of all, I'm going to go over their voter issues, which is one, topicality. They say that we're going to be reducing education, and that, okay, so, oh my gosh, this is really crazy. Okay, they're saying that they're providing education with their interpretation, right? One, their plan is extremely vague, and they haven't specified how they're carrying it out. Two, they conceded that the affirmative team wins the point on education. They conceded that in their second speech. Thus, topicality doesn't matter anymore. Okay, so moving on to address their second voter issue, which is about the criterion. And so they said that their criterion provides greater benefits for the whole world. However, as we've said before, our criterion is essentially net benefits to Kim Jong-un specifically. And he, okay, so he is going to help liberate America. We've said that our plan will have a really important impacts that you cannot dismiss, that the negation team has dismissed, has not refuted at all. That these impacts have actually will actually affect the whole world positively. So we can see that they lose on the second voter issue of the criterion as well. All right, so I'm just going to talk about impact calculus. All right, so after my first speech, the negation team never mentioned impacts at all. All right, so impacts to our first contention, we're going to be able to make sure that North Korea's honor isn't hurt by Americans assuming that North Korea isn't important at all. Yeah, our opponents don't even think that North Korea is a threat. They didn't even think that North Korea could be a subject for this debate. They're completely ignoring a whole country. And if that's not discrimination, I don't know what is. Okay, impacts to our second contention, attracting allies and forming a new world order in which everyone is equal. So as I brought up in my first speech, racism is eliminated, sexism is eliminated, everyone is equal. That is an extremely important impact, which the negation team, once again, they just dismissed. Moving on to our third contention, impact. The impact to liberating the American people, we can see it that the gender inequality in the pay gap is eliminated, that income inequality is eliminated. We're essentially allowing the American people to have their say once again. We are liberating them, and that is extremely important. And America can be great once more. Okay. I'm just going to go through some stuff really quickly. Alright, topicality. I'm just going to address this once again, even though I already said it really doesn't matter. If you don't buy that it doesn't matter, Judge, what they've said as one of their standards is what a normal debater would consider the definition of this house. So, as my partner mentioned in her speech, we see that the normal debater is a white male. Now, statistically speaking, sorry, I heard you wrong. Okay, so, no, this is not new information. All right, so
Statistically speaking part is...
I didn't use that wording, but it was...
All right, so moving on. So, okay. Anyways, so the negation team mentioned that, oh, well, we're females debating. That's because we're an all-girls school and we're on the same debate team. We're from the same school. That's, okay. And essentially, what they're saying by defining the normal debater as white male, they're otherizing us. And otherizing eventually leads to genocide. So that's another impact that you have to consider in today's round, Judge. And and this is a pre-fiat issue. So you have to consider this before the case. Okay.
I will hurt you.
Okay, I think that's it, okay?
I was going off of what I saw.
Yeah, I think I covered everything
Oh,
else.
yeah. And also confirming campaigns. They conceded this, so our queen can't be on this.
Oh yeah. They've never really said that Kim Jong is not flawless in any way, so you can carry everything through, Judge. Okay. And so for these reasons, I strongly affirm today's resolution that this house would wear a mask. Thank you.
I still think Lily doesn't make mistakes, Kim Jong-un doesn't make mistakes. Coincidence? I think not.
That was spectacular.